Hi, I was listening to a message on the weekend about the modern state of Israel and how it fits into God's plans. And it was a good message, but it got one part slightly wrong, and that was the difference between Israel and Judah. And that when Israel was taken into captivity by Assyria, it dispersed all over the place, and we never got them back, and they never came back into the land. The whole British Israelite system comes out of that. But I want to talk about how you can tell, not just from Bible verses, but just use your brain a little, that the Israelites did come back with the people of Judah into the land of Judah. Let me go firstly to the verse, and this is in Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 16. God is speaking, and he said, "Mortal man, take a wooden stick and write on it the words, the kingdom of Judah. Then take another stick and write on it the words, the kingdom of Israel." Now, let's find out where Ezekiel is at the moment. Ezekiel's gone off with the captivity into Babylonia. So he's in Babylon. He's not in Judah. This is during the 70 years of captivity. And God says to him, hold the two sticks end to end in your hand so that they look like one stick. Can you imagine that? When your people ask you to tell them what this means, tell them that I, the sovereign Lord, am going to take the stick representing Israel and put it with the one representing Judah, and out of the two, I will make one stick and hold it in my hand. Hold in your hand the two sticks and let the people see them. And then tell them that I, the sovereign Lord, am going to take all my people out of the nations where they've gone, gather them together and bring them back to their own land. Who was he going to bring back? Both Israel and Judah. He was going to make one nation out of them. So that's the verse where God says, I'm going to do this. This is where God says, I'm going to take the people of Israel and bring them back into the land of Judah, back to my land, which by the time they come back, the whole lot is called Israel. But in fact, you don't necessarily just need the Bible verses to understand this. Israel was captured by the kingdom of Assyria, and they were scattered. What the Assyrians did is they scattered their captives all throughout their empire so that they didn't have little clusters of people. So the nation of Israel, the people of Israel, are scattered right throughout the empire of Assyria. Assyria was then conquered by Babylon, which increased the empire. All right, so it's bigger. Where are the people of Israel? They're still scattered around the area of the empire of Assyria. At this point, Babylon takes Judah into captivity and brings them back to Babylon, but they're still all scattered inside this area of the Assyrian Empire. Then eventually the Medes and the Persians conquer the Babylonians. They increase the kingdom even further, or the empire even further, so it's even all the way to India now. Where are the Israelites? They're within that area of Assyria, the Assyrian Empire. So they're within the Persian kingdom. So when the king of Persia says, you can all go back to the land of Israel, who went back? Everybody. There was no people scattered all over the place. They were already in the... You don't put people outside your empire when you capture them. You keep them inside your empire. So we can tell just by thinking about it. You've probably got maps in the back of your Bible that will show this too, show the different sizes of the empires. The Israelites were on that smaller Assyrian empire. So when Darius said, yes, you can all go back, they all went back, Israel and Judah, as God prophesied in Ezekiel 37, and they went back into the land.